All right, Kahala Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakadash for giving me the spirit to do this lesson today. Double honors to the apostles and elders in Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. And shalom to your hopeful elects, to you flocks out there. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Today we're going to talk about the Lord's vengeance on Great Babylon, okay? The Lord's vengeance on Edomites, you heathens, you people that come against, all right, the Most High's children's, the Most High's chosen ones, the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You're going to receive vengeance real soon, and you're going to receive this judgment by the Lord real soon, as everything that's collapsing, everything that's going on, as wars, all right, food shortages, all right, famine, all right, plagues, all these things that are happening for a reason. We're going to get into these things, man. We got the earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. We got the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, David, all right, M. Rothschild, who is Caesar Borgia, who made up the false the depiction of the Messiah. You know, all these people that have full control, top elites, all right, that rule over us. They're going to receive vengeance real soon, because those who leadeth in captivity will go into captivity, man. So, okay, real quick, we're going to pull up this copyright disclaimer. Copyright, fair use. This is for educational purpose. All right, disclaimer, copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, education, and research. All right, let's go ahead and play this video real quick. All right, so here we got David Wilcock, the same person that exposed, okay, I think it was Britain that came against this so-called African American man or African man by the name of Simeon Toko, right? This is the same man right here that exposed Simeon Toko for having spiritual powers and special abilities, okay? This man that he got persecuted, he got slayed, you know, he got deleted, he got off the face of this earth for exposing these things. And here he is again exposing, all right, the top elites, okay, people that rule over us, etc., right? So let's go ahead and play this video.
The whole idea of these big wars is a joke. It's a setup, it's a game that's played to play off the opposites against each other in the hopes of synthesizing a new world order where we all kind of synthesize. That's why Democrat and Republican is a joke, because what they ultimately want is a racist society. They're very racist, and they're interested in a new world order which is run by a Luciferian philosophy. Now, this is very...
Right. So like he said there, all right, they are being controlled and being, you know, they're following these Luciferian theories, these Luciferian ideas, and, you know, they just top secret, you know, the people in the elites, all right, the top elites, they going against us. They going against the Most High's children's, right? So of course they're gonna follow Luciferian things. They're gonna follow demonic spirits and such, all right, because, you know, that's their God, that's who they rule, that's who they serve, right? So that's what they gonna do, okay? And one of the scriptures that I got here is Revelation chapter 16 and 14. We're gonna go to the G&T version of it, okay? And 16 and 14, all right, it says they are the spirits of demons that perform miracles, all right? The top elites, okay, the elites of this world, the ruler of this world, the world was given unto the hand of the wicked, as it says in the Bible, right? These people are spirits of demons, okay? They are manifested here on this earth to do what? To come against us, the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that make up the 12 tribes of Israel, all right? There are the spirits of demons that perform miracles, right? That perform witchcraft and magic and do all these things, right? All right, perform rituals after rituals to do what? All right, to bring hell on earth. These spirits go out to all the kings of the world to bring them together for the battle of the great day of Almighty Yahweh. See what I'm saying? So ultimately, their plan, their scheme, all right, their motives is to go against us. Their motives is to go into across the whole world and bring everybody together, all right, as far as the kings, the rulers of this world, the people in charge, like, for an example, Donald Trump, right? All right, bring up bring these people together, right? The ones up front, the ones in the television, right? Because they're not gonna show their face. The real rulers of this world not gonna show their face, right, on TV, all right? Because they behind, they backstage, they coming up with all the evil schemes, all the evil plans. Like, okay, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do, right? Because the puppets, like Donald J. Trump, right? That's a puppet. He receives orders from the elites. He receives orders from these other people that are higher than them. You know what I'm saying? That have a higher ranking in these demonic spirits, in these demonic spiritual realm, right? So these are spirits of demons that perform miracles, okay? As you see here, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. We not lying to y'all, man. Wake up. Let's continue with the video.
Very disturbing sounding stuff, but they've been persecuted for thousands and thousands of years by various people. Nobody persecuted them as badly as the Roman government through the Catholic Christian Church. They were.
All right, so it says that he said that nobody persecuted as badly as the Romans and the Catholics, right? Because the Romans and the Catholics back in those days were Edomites, all right, so-called Caucasian people, right? And these people had nothing but evil thoughts, evil ways, you know what I'm saying? Demonic ways of how to persecute somebody, how to delete someone, how to take them off the face of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Medieval executions, right? And I got a quick AI overview of the Romans' persecutions on the Christians, right? It says Romans believed the empire's success depended on showing reverence to traditional gods and the emperor, because Christians believe in one God, which is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. At the time, the Christians, all right, Christians are considered to be followers of who? Followers of Yahweh Shah, right? So that means that during this time, the Christians were the Israelites, right? And of course, you know, those who were still tapped in and following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High weren't going for the traditional gods that these Romans were doing, that these Romans were worshiping, all right? These pagan gods, these false gods, you know what I'm saying? And so because of that, you know, they were persecuted because, like it says here, Christians believe in one God, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. They refuse to make sacrifices to the emperor, which Romans views as treason. You see what I'm saying? And so we got, let me pull out Psalms 14 in the GNT. And verse 4. Don't they know, as the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, are all these evildoers ignorant? They live by robbing my people and they never pray to me. Right? Don't they know? Are all these evildoers ignorant? Yes, they are. They are, unfortunately. Right? They live by robbing my people and they never pray to me. Now, who robbed us from our land? Right? The Edomites, the so-called Caucasian people, right? They robbed from us. They stole our land. They stole our wealth, right? A lot of things that they stole, man. They stole our identity. You know what I'm saying? And they gave it to these fake Jews, these synagogues of Satan, right? That live today in Israel. You know what I'm saying? Those are the fake Jews. We the real Israelites. We the real Jews. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Native Americans, blacks, Hispanics, right? So continuing on, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. So this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. Don't be fooled by what they say, for that day will not come until there is a great rebellion against God. Who is going to come? Who is going to have a great rebellion against the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah? Right? These heathens, all right? These Edomites, the so-called Caucasian man, the so-called white man, right? The rulers of this world, the wicked, right? They're gonna come against the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua with the AI technology and all these bullshit that they come up with, right? For we are not ignorant of your devices, Satan. We are not ignorant of your wicked schemes, your wicked devices, right? That you gonna come out and try to come against the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and his people, right? Don't be fooled by what they say, for that day will not come until there is a great rebellion against Yahweh. And the man of lawlessness, right? The man of lawlessness, lawlessness is a man that don't have no morals, that don't follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, that don't got no rules unto himself, that comes from the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? And that man is Edomites. That man is a white man, is a heathen, right? Is revealed the one who brings destruction, right? The one who brings destruction. All right, he was exalt himself and defy everything that people call God and every object of worship. He will even sit in the temple of God, claiming that he himself is God, right? And that's who you call an Edomite. That's who you call a heathen. That's who you call a so-called white man in today's society, in modern society, right? Like I showed you here in these pictures, these people, they present themselves as God. They present themselves just because they got a higher status, a higher power, right? That they rule over us and got all this power. They present themselves and treat themselves as gods. You know what I'm saying? And who they worship? Satan. So there you go. Continuing on with the video.
Were tortured, they were killed, so they came to the natural conclusion, you can understand anybody would have done this under the circumstances. What do you think they would choose? They would say, okay, whatever God these guys think is God, that's not the right one, because he's stringing us out on the rack, he's torturing us, he's killing us. Therefore, whoever the Christian church says is the bad guy is the good guy. Okay, wait a minute. Lucifer is the brightest light and the brightest angel in heaven, right? And he's the one that got tossed out of heaven.
All right, that's what you call a deception. That's what you call a deception. They're following after their own ways, their own thoughts, their own philosophies. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High warned us from following after these philosophies, because it don't lead to nowhere but destruction, all right, failure. Okay, you don't receive salvation by following these heathens. You receive hell, and that's just what it is.
Well, maybe he got tossed out of heaven because he was too cool, right? Because everybody else in there was a bunch of corrupt shysters. Well, this is actually what the most powerful people in the world think, and they are a fundamentalist religion just like any of the others. They still believe this weird stuff. They follow these teachings,
right? And I'm gonna pull up that scripture real quick, just to show you to not follow vain philosophies. How you say it? Okay, it won't let me. Come on. Not trying to make this video too long. Salakia. All right, Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. And it says, don't let anyone capture you with empty philosophies and high-sounding nonsense. In other words, vain deceit after the tradition of men. Okay? After the rudiments of the world and not after Yahushua. See what I'm saying? So you got to be careful of these things that these people follow, because they following after Shaitan. They following after Satan, after the Lucifer, after the, you know what I'm saying? These demonic spirits. Okay? These are the people that worship the devil. That worship, that's why they're called the wicked, for a reason. And what the Bible says, as it says in Job chapter 9, verse 24, the world is given unto the hand of the wicked. You know what I'm saying? And we got the Amalekites, who are the so-called Jewish people of today, right? These people also have a partake into ruling over things in the world, such as our music, you know, many different things, sports, okay, sports, movies, cartoons, everything, every little single thing, man. These people have rulership over these things, and they are the first grandson of Esau. They come from the lineage of the wicked, in other words, okay? They come from these things, and you got to be careful interact with, you know what I'm saying? We got this video right here. All right, copyright, fair use. All right, he's making it very clear to you, like he's just gonna be straight up with you and tell you that it is the Jews, you dummy, because we got people like they following after their own thoughts, their own vain ideas and studies, and think they know it all. But we got the source right here, coming from the source. The source gonna tell you that, yeah, it's coming from the Jews. So I don't know what you talking about, but it is us. It's us that we rule this shit, and we bring evil into the world. We bring wars, we bring famine, we bring plagues. And who ultimately does that? Who gives the power to do these things? Who gives the power? Who gives the power to these fake Jews to do these things? The Most High Yahweh. Most High Yahweh do these things. Why? Because he allows evil and good to happen at the same time for a reason, in order for prophecies to be fulfilled, in order for Yahweh Shah to come down here and have a reason to come down here. You know what I'm saying? Just like Yahweh Shah had a reason to die for us, because we had to be saved from our sins, right? We don't have it in us to refrain from doing things, to stop from doing things. We can't, because there's so many things that the Most High calls evil. There's so many things that the Most High calls to be wicked. You know what I'm saying? And little do we know, we do things that go against the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. So that's why, Salaki, that's why Most High said, I'm gonna bring down my only begotten Son to die for you, to die for my people, right? So just like he has a reason to die for us, he got to have a reason to come back. You know what I'm saying? And that's to destroy you 2/3 and you heathens. All right, you Edomites, you Caucasian people, man. All right, but let me pull out my notes real quick. The Lord will bring vengeance to the heathens. Psalms 149. I don't want to make this too long, but it just might be. Psalms 149 and verse 6, it says, let the praise of Yahweh be in their mouths and a sharp sword in their hands, to execute vengeance on the nations. All right, to execute vengeance upon the heathens and punishment upon the people, to bend their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, right? To execute judgment written against them. All right, this is the glorious privilege of the faithful ones. Praise the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, right? To the saints. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. The Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah going to execute vengeance on the nations and punishment on the heathens. You know what I'm saying? Revelation chapter 13 and verse 10. All right, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, right? So those who led us into slavery gonna go into slavery too, right? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So what that mean? He that shot us in the head when we ain't had no gun in our pockets, right? We ain't had shit, but you want to assume, right? These pigs, right? These cops, you know what I'm saying? The white man, right? The so-called white man, Caucasian, the pink ones, the red ones, the ones that come out red and hairy, right? Esau gonna receive captivity, gonna receive vengeance. All right, it's making it very clear to us, as it says in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 10, right? Isaiah chapter 26. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 21. It says, what it say? Look, the Lord is coming from heaven to punish the people of the earth for their sins. All right, the inhabitants of the earth, right? Who did the Most High give the world unto? Right? The wicked, right? The inhabitants of the earth are the wicked. For their iniquity, the earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. All right, so these people are going to receive vengeance all right, going to receive judgment from the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. For what? For their wrongs, their iniquities. You know what I'm saying? And we got Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 6. And it says, flee from Babylon. Save yourself. Don't get trapped in her punishment. Right? In the Lord's time for vengeance, he will repay her in full. So there you go. Another verse that's going to tell you that Babylon will receive vengeance. All right? These Edomites, these heathens, all right, the rulers of this world, top elites, going to receive vengeance. For what? For their iniquities. All right? Their evil works. Their evil works. Their hands are evil. They shed blood, nothing but blood, and innocent blood at that. So the Most High going to judge these heathens for that. And we got Isaiah chapter 10 and the GNT. And it says, you are doomed. You make unjust laws that oppress my people. Who are those? The elites. All right, the governments. Okay? The government. Okay? So-called Caucasian man. All right? These people come up with this shit. Right? They make unjust laws that oppress my people. Who are they oppressing? Who gets oppressed more than anybody in this world? The so-called black man. The so-called black man and the Hispanics and Native Americans that make up the 12 tribes of Israel, who are the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua's people, right? That is how you keep the poor from having their rights and from getting justice. This is how you take the property that belongs to the widows and orphans. What will you do when God punishes you? What will you do when he brings you disaster on you from a distant country? Where will you run to find help? Where would you hide your wealth? Nowhere. Because you're going to be killed, as it says in verse 4. You will be killed. You will be deleted in battle or dragged off as prisoners. Yet even so, the Lord's anger, Yahweh Yahushua's anger will not be ended. All right? His hand will be stretched out to punish on all four corners of the earth, all over the world. The Most High going to punish you heathens. All right? And those who try to hide in the bunkers, you're going to receive judgment from the Lord. You can't run from this shit. Simple as that. All right. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 2. It says, the nations of the world will help the people of Israel. All right. And those who come to live in the Lord's land will serve them. Right. In KJV it says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. All right, that's you Esau's. That's you Edomites, you heathens, you so-called Caucasian people, right? And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. They shall rule over their oppressors. There you go. Another reason, another verse to tell you that the Israelites will come back into rulership, and that those who oppress us is going to be oppressed. Right? 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. We know that one. For Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it. That followeth. There you go. Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 21, I believe. Right? And it says, was it 21? No, Salakia, verse 10. And I actually got that in the GNT instead. Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 10. In the GNT, it says, the Lord says to Jerusalem, all right, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, foreigners, right? Heathens, right? The so-called Caucasian man, the white man, foreigners will rebuild your walls, and their kings will serve you. In my anger, I'll punish you, but now I will show you my favor and mercy, right? The Most High, he punished me. He punished us, right? The so-called the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Most High judged us at one time for not obeying his law, statutes, and commandments, right? That's why we were scattered and being put through slavery. All right, our lands were taken. You know, a lot of things happened, and now you can find that in Deuteronomy chapter 28. But now I will show you my favor and mercy, the Most High said. Why will he do that? Because as it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. Right? To those who remain faithful and serve the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Most High says, I got a present for you. I got something for you. Don't worry. Don't you worry. You're going to have rulership again. Right? Day and night, your gates will open so that the kings of the nations may bring you their wealth. But nations that do not serve you will be completely destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Alright. And let's continue with this video. So there you go. I mean, he's telling you straight up that we're the ones who rule this shit. Fuck is you talking about? The Jewish people rule this shit. Alright? The ones who look like me, nigga. The ones who look like me. Shut your ass up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, bro, the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua gave the world to the wicked. Alright? The inhabitants of this earth, alright, they shed innocent blood. Okay, these fake ass Jews are the ones who run this shit. And I ain't trying to be on some anti-Semitic shit either. Alright, YouTube, they want to try to take this video down for any other reasons. But like I said, fair use for educational purposes and criticism. We got one more. Okay, these people were made for one reason, and that's to bring prophecies. All right, to fulfill prophecy. Okay, they had to do all these things for one reason, and that's to start the Armageddon, to come against the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. War. The Most High Yahweh Bashim Yahushua wants war with these heathens. All right, and they gonna give it to him. So let's go. All right, like I said, they do rituals, okay? They perform miracles, as it says in Revelation chapter 16 and verse 12. Okay, these miracles are witchcraft. Okay, it's miracles unto their gods. It's miracles unto their wants, their needs, their desires. Okay, and how do they do these things? By rituals, by oh my gosh, like, it's just so much bad shit. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. But one of the things that they do, right, is serving babies unto Baal. Okay, putting them into flames, eating them, doing all types of wickedness, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, continue. And there you have it. It's all for what? A new world order to bring out the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. Okay, that is gonna be the new device to make transactions, to pay, to show your wallet, to go to work and do all types of things. Everything's gonna be digital. They trying to make this shit happen for a reason. For what? To come against the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, and one more thing. In this video right here, he mentioned, okay, fuck, Salakia. Okay, so one of the points that I wanted to bring out from that context of him saying that, well, that's not God, we're gonna show him who God is, right? So they took the image of Yahweh Shah and they changed the pictures like in the Renaissance era, right? In the Renaissance era, and they you know, they had to pick who they were gonna choose to make them look like them. And one of the man that they took is Caesar Borgia. Okay, straight up, this is the man right here who is the false depiction of the Messiah. Okay, they use him to make Jesus Christ, right? And we know the Israelites, all right, the so-called black Hispanics and Native Americans, all right, we know what the Most High Yahweh and his only begotten Son looks like, according to Revelation chapter 1 and 14. And this is how he looks. You know, hair is woolly, okay, like snow. It's white, all right. His skin burnt like the furnace, okay. So he's dark skinned, okay, and his eyes were red and fury. You know what I'm saying? So like, what are they talking about? Because that's not, you know what I'm saying? But we're gonna go to Revelation chapter 1. All right, real quick before we end this video. Revelation chapter 1 and 14. It says his head and his hair were white like wool. There you go. As white as snow, and his eyes were like the flames of fire. You see the fury in his eyes. His feet were like polished bronze, refined and fine in a furnace, and his voice thundered like mighty ocean waves. So he had a deep voice, okay, and he was dark skinned from head to bottom. You know what I'm saying? And we got First Maccabees to tell you, all right, how these people were gonna change the picture, all right, of the image of Yahweh Shah. All right, so First Maccabees, and we're gonna go to chapter 3 and verse 48, and it says, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathens had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Okay, so the heathens, here we go again with these heathens, all right, these white people, so-called white man, Caucasian man, the red, right? They wanted to go out there, like I said, in the Renaissance era. That's why they took these books out of the Bible, because they had things that exposed them, right? And that's what you got the Apocrypha for. But wherein the heathens had sought to paint the likeness of their images, you know what I'm saying? And that's how the false depiction of Jesus Christ, who the world calls Jesus Christ, right, Yahweh Shah, came out to be. So there you go. The Lord's vengeance on Great Babylon is coming real soon. So prepare, you wicked heathens, you Esau nation, y'all gonna receive judgment. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I want to say, Kahala Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakadash for giving me the spirit to do this lesson today. Double honors to the apostles and elders in Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and shalom to you hopeful elects. On to the next.